Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I am your man, A.D. Walker, and to my left, right is my brother, Pastor Brian McCory. Dwayne Goodson will be with us shortly. Um, so we appreciate you guys rocking with us and hanging with us. Real quick programming note, and I'm probably going to repeat. Well, one, of course, so, as always, make sure you join our community. Text brothers to 84576. Text brothers to 84576. So you are kept up to date with all the programming and things that are happening with the Brothers of Legacy and those programs that are connected as well. Um, hey, good morning, Lisa. Good morning. Good morning. V in the building. Good morning. Good morning.
Happy
Um,
Tuesday.
yes, indeed. Happy Tuesday. Um, so make sure you connect 845 brothers to 84576. Secondly, and this was my slow butt. Um, Tomorrow we will not be having Brothers of Legacy as per usual, because uh, pretty much all the Brothers of Legacy will be at the Fathers Matter conference call happening, or conference on Zoom. So make sure you register so you get an opportunity to see our faces in a place in a different environment. And it's because it's the whole idea is to have different finding a solution. And through finding a solution, we're going to discuss topics and things that are of concern in the community. So that is the goal with this conference coming up on tomorrow. that's, that's such a church thing. On tomorrow. On tomorrow. So make sure you sign up, register, because this is where we'll all be at in our designated spaces. We won't be all in the same screen. We'll be holding separate classes, so you can choose who you want to hang out with. You can jump between classes. But this is where we'll be at the Fathers Matter, mobilizing fatherhood in Metro Atlanta. And this is like just the hub of where things will start. It will spread throughout the nation. So you definitely want to be a part of this movement. Great morning to you, Mama McCory. Thank you. Thank
Hey,
you.
Mom.
So yeah, that's where we'll be. Just as a programming note, I'm gonna put it up again because someone's gonna be looking like, "Where's the brothers at?" so you'll
We're
know
out,
that.
we're out doing what we're talking about.
Right, right. Exactly. Oh, let's see. Good morning, Missy Bond. Good
Morning, Mother
morning.
Yvonne.
All right. So today we're going to be talking about. Nope, not that one. There you go. Where did I put? There we go. I put it right at the top. What does a prospering community look like? What does a prospering community look like? We're going to push on to the positive side of a lot of these conversations, to give understanding of what we see and what do you guys see as a prospering community. What does it look like? And when we talk community, it could be local, it could be social, as far as through like social means, just like this. But what does a prospering community look like? All right. So this is your opportunity to share. Make sure you tag somebody. Like I said, tag those people that you probably same exact conversations with. You're like, you know what? Me and such were just talking about this. So make sure you connect with them, tag them in this broadcast, because like I said before, for whatever reason, either I hit some trigger words in my topics or something, but Facebook has been limiting my reach. And this is where most of my audience is coming from. And if you're on YouTube, spread the word, spread the message. If you're watching me on Twitch, I appreciate you because I've been getting some subscribes on Twitch. So we're slowly growing on Twitch as well. So make sure you share to your community. And this is what we do. Be a part, join in this conversation. All right. So we'll be right back. I didn't want to catch that.
Morning.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Good morning. Everybody. Let's see. Nope, not the shit there. Okay. So like I said, make sure you share. This is your opportunity to share. I'm sharing as well. Um, listen, and we appreciate you guys rocking with us every morning because you could be watching anything on TV right now, but you're hanging out with us, or at least hanging out with us and doing work or whatever you're doing. And hopefully others that are around you are listening and hearing us. And if they don't know who they're listening to the Brothers of Legacy. gotta get the announcer's voice. The Brothers of Legacy. And if you missed any of the episodes and you want to listen to us on the go and you're like, man, I can't watch the screen, you could always subscribe to our podcast. We're on every podcast app from Apple to Stitcher to Google Podcasts and many, many more. So just go on the search bar, put up the Brothers of Legacy and look for the symbol. Look for the symbol because I found out there's another Brothers of Legacy out there. So look for the symbol. Look for that symbol. We're kind of unique with it. All right. So today, we are talking about what does a prospering community look like? What does a prospering community look like? So I want to toss to my brother, Pastor McCory, if he's had a chance to kind of chew on that. I will admit I've thrown that topic kind of last minute. We said, what does it look like? Yes, Tyra. Yes, indeed. Thanks for the reminder so that I won't be fussing. I know. Yeah, and listen, this for Mama McCory too. Mama McCory, I promise you, we're working. We're just going to be on another platform. So, Pastor, what does a prospering community to you look like?
Wow.
That's a heavy one, right? It's a big one.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of things.
Yes.
It's a lot of things. I think that to me, you can define it as a prospering community, but I would define it personally as a thriving or healthy community.
Okay.
Because a healthy community is a prosperous community, a prospering community. A healthy community is a thriving community, and I think that a healthy community is a community where its inhabitants all have equal access to resources, right? There's a consistency in a belief structure, right? Faith, because I'm always going to be God-centered. Right. I think that a healthy community has access to, quality education. A healthy community has access to quality health care. I think a healthy community has, a solid infrastructure, right? Access to transportation, a healthy community outreach connection, community services. Those are some of the things that I would. I think I said healthcare. Those are some of the things that I would include. A healthy community has civic engagement.
So that
right? Everyone understands their duty, their commitment to engaging. I think those are some of the things that I would call and if you have these things and people, safe neighborhoods, right?
Right.
So,
right. Okay. So that's good. Thank you, Pastor. You really kind of broke it down. Oh, so basically just as a recap, and this is good just as an infrastructure of a thriving community, between education, healthcare, solid infrastructure. I want to ask you about that. Transportation, available transportation. For me, I guess I look at it as you're saying, like public transport between like busing and possible trains, but just a way to get around without necessarily having to have a car, other than like Uber and Lyft and things like that. Okay. Outreach, I look at that as those that get into a situation or get into a spot that needs the help or are in trouble. The civic engagement, I'm with you, like the political process, know what's going on socially in your school board, things of that nature. And of course, safe neighborhood, we all know a safe neighborhood. I just don't want no drama. I just want to be able to come home, let my kids play outside, and nobody's having to duck down, have to teach my kid, you hear that? You need to get down below the car.
Right.
That's sounds that you don't need to go investigate. Don't investigate that. All right, let me get my brother Dwayne Goodson in the building. Great morning to you, sir.
What's going on, sir?
What's up, Cole? Good morning, sir. So to me, like having a prospering community, lately, I'll say for my mindset, especially after watching like Soledad O'Brien's news report or documentary, however they placing it. It's to me trying to how can we do a lot of these things, and some are possible without the need of government assistance, and is it possible? But we're gonna dig into that. So let that sit on your head, Pastor. I'm gonna give it over to Dwayne and ask you, what do you consider a prospering community? What does it look like to you, or even a thriving community? And anyone in the audience, anyone listening, feel free to put up your list. You probably got to type a little bit, put them like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what I look like. Pastor gave a great examples, of an infrastructure or the basics of what a thriving community should look like, or the parts of the moving parts. For you, Dwayne, I want to say Elder Dwayne. What does it look like to you?
For me, it's relatively simple. There's an appearance of unity. You may not always get along. Linda. You may not always believe the same things, but you got each other when it's needed.
Yes.
Like if there's a hard time, you're there for each other. You got to have a place where families are safe.
Mm-hmm.
So just like a relationship, I think a prospering community looks like a prospering relationship. You see safety, you see trust, you see productivity, a place where the kids not only have places and things to do and to be educated, but also extracurricular things that goes beyond just the scope of sports. I grew up in a decent, well, it's hard to say. It's hard to say you grew up in a decent neighborhood when you look back at all the things that happened. But I'll say this, when I remember growing up.
Right.
One of the things that I liked about our community is we had things outside of just basketball, football, and baseball.
Right.
And I look at my town now, and it seems like the only things they have for kids to do after school is basketball, football, and baseball. It's like all the other aspects have gone away. So trust, safety, everybody's eating. And then after you've met those minimal standards, you still got enough of you in the community left over to help and reach out and help somebody else prosper.
Okay. All right. So I like that the safety, the trust, the productive space for kids, and the productive space for kids to grow, the things to get into outside of the normal basketball and things of that nature. And it's funny that you say that, right? Because you grow up in a space and you think, "Oh, we good," till you grow up, and you go back to like, "Nah, I ain't live here like this. It didn't look like this. It didn't look like I walk down the streets all the time. It did not look like." And your parents like it looked just like it didn't affect me then. Like you so used to it. You ever go like to like your grandparents' house or an older parent's house or older relative or wherever that you used to be at when you was a kid, just like, man, this house is small. This house is tiny.
I'm gonna tell you what really happened when my wife went to visit my hometown.
Wow.
We kind of did the same thing when I went to the Bahamas. She took me everywhere where she grew up in the Bahamas.
Right.
And I was like, hey, let me show you where I came from. And as I'm showing her where I came from,
Right.
I'm like, yeah, this is a lot different than I remember. But yeah, I got in my first fight right there.
Right there.
I was like, yeah, this
dirt spot right there.
I was like, yeah, this house right here. Right. I used to hide behind this house, and the bus would drive by. Then I would run back home when I skipped school. And then I'm looking at the house. I'm just like, ooh. I remember it being so much better.
Right. Oh, so yeah,
it got filters.
Right. Either that or it's just what you grew up in. It's what you've always seen. Like you didn't know any different till you moved out of your neighborhood. Like, I had, visited places, but you never stayed anywhere. You never lived somewhere, and then once you start living in different places, you realize what your space really looked like, more perspective on, based on everywhere else. So with that being said, right. So how can we change some of these situations? Okay, so like the civic engagement, that's a more in-house personal thing. Mm-hmm. That's everybody being involved, right? That's a contributive kind of thing, whereas that's not them, that's us contributing into our neighborhoods. Correct? Mm-hmm. So let's start with that one. How do we ramp up our civic engagement in our community? For so long, like I drive Lyft and I've talked to young people, I've talked to older, some never voted. They're not interested in the political process because you've grown to not trust it, because a lot of times you look so much on a national stage that you don't focus on the local stage, and you don't, you come to realize, as you either go older or you get wiser, that these things that are happening across the street, these construction sites, these buildings, these things are happening because of some political influence, some political saying, yeah, you could do that. You can build yours higher than everybody's, where there was a code that you couldn't build that high. So it's like, how are they able to do that? And John's shop couldn't do it, so you begin to realize who's in office makes a difference. So how do we engage in our communities to push them to be more civic minded? Or what would you say to help us?
I think it's education. I think it's calling on community and family leaders to begin educating the individuals within the community. Have rallies, have community outreach events that promote civic engagement. I mean, those are the types of things that you can do. Go to the local parks. There's so many things. Community organizations. Everyone should make a pact that whatever community organization that you're connected to or involved with, that becomes part of the conversation.
Right. What about you, Dwayne?
Well, see, for me, it's interesting because I had to recently dive into this topic head first, because I got a nephew that's up for parole, and when writing a letter of support, and when writing a letter of support and why he might have done or was the way he was, I had to dig into my city, right? I had to dig into statistics. Right. And one of the things that I found was my town, it has a violent crime rate 325% higher than the average city in America.
Wow.
And so it caused me to look deeper. So I went to towns who had low crime rates.
Okay.
And I mean, and take away the way of policing, take that completely out of the picture, which I don't know if you can completely. But what I found was towns that had 5 or more extracurricular activities that didn't include school activities, the crime rate was almost 200% lower than the national average.
Wow.
So like Pastor said, education is key. And sometimes the best way to win your argument is to show the alternative, but show it using statistics and facts from other things that are tangible that they can compare it to. Right. Oh, you want our town to be like this town 15 miles away that you can't throw anything out the window and you get pulled over, that type town, or you drive the speed limit because they don't play over there. Right. Well, normally the other side of that is they don't play like that over there because their stuff is a little bit nicer. Right. They don't want anybody coming in messing it up, and they got this, and this, and things that you can point to. So absolutely, what I realized was kids are impressionable, and they just want to belong, and they want somewhere where they can call their own. Right. Now, whoever gives them that first is the crowd or the direction they generally sway to. So if you can provide all these beautiful minds something to engage it and to make it stronger and challenge them, but at the same time make it fun, you kind of save them from the path that they could go down. You won't save everybody, but it's enough for you to be able to present as an argument as to why we need these additional programs.
Right. Right. Okay. So how do we how do we, as those that are more civic engaged and more civic minded, help our community to be more proactive and less reactive? Because a lot of times, we come out once something is already passed. We come out once construction is about to happen. We find out, sometimes I will say find out later, but there's always the process. With every big construction, there's a hearing, on the viability. I'm sure that a lot of people don't show up to because they're thinking like, it doesn't look bad, at least for the most part, or we don't have a financial stake in it. Like, it doesn't matter to me whether or not, it happens. Like I've known, but it's crazy. Like I told you I drive Lyft, and I drive some people in certain communities, and they looking like, how they about to build this? They don't even got the traffic for this. They don't even have the streets wide enough, like, so they're already hot, like how they building this big construction site on this 2-lane highway right here. Like they need to widen the highway because it's going to be immense, because they see these things coming. So how do we that begin to see these things, push our people to be more civically minded or civically active? And like I said, being more proactive and less reactive.
Pastor McCrory always says it best. It even inspired last week's game. You got to show up and get a seat at the table. Right. I mean, it's that simple. It's really that simple. If you don't show up, then you can't complain about, hey, well, why didn't we have a voice? Well, you didn't have a voice because you didn't show up. Right. There's a park right around the corner from my house, and we got a bunch of kids in the neighborhood, and they completely demolished the park and rebuilt it within a month time frame. And you know what I noticed?
What's that?
There's no basketball goal.
Wow.
There's about 15 teenagers in my neighborhood who used to go to this same raggedy park and play this. I mean, they had fun and they were respectful, but they were at the park, but they took the basketball goal away. Wow. Now nobody goes to the park. Wow. But it's a brand new park and it's nice. But nobody goes to it.
Wow.
And I had to check myself because I drove past. I was like, now why in the world would they put a park in a residential neighborhood and take that away?
Right.
And then I was like, yeah, but you kind of didn't even know what was going on. So why are you over here trying to talk now?
Right. Wow. So yeah, I guess it's being mindful of what's happening in your neighborhood, being mindful. But so how do we, so in hindsight, right? If you knew it was happening, what would you have done differently? Or would you have done anything differently?
Well, I tell you this, I don't know if I would have personally done anything differently.
Okay.
Because I had a Joshua type mind frame. Okay. I was thinking about me and my house, and if me and my house don't go where I can't see you yet.
Right.
So the park it wasn't a concern for me.
Okay.
But but hindsight being 2020, I look back,
right,
and I see some of these kids who no longer at the park, and I see them walking a lot.
Right. And
they could be good kids. I don't know.
No, I know. But you know well as I know.
But now you idle. So
we
things start to turn. So
rest. I gotta get into something.
Right. So now I'm like, man,
right.
I should have been to all those town hall meetings,
right? When they discussed it,
or those planning and zoning meetings when they were voting on a new park and what was going to be there and what wasn't going to be there. Because I guarantee you there was somebody there complaining about basketball and who ain't got kids no more.
Right.
And now all of a sudden they're gone, but now they're going to complain about the garage getting broken into, maybe. I don't know. But it may be a stretch, but that's how it goes.
No, I'm with you. That's kind of the point I want to get at. Oh, and they might have mentioned like, hey, do we need basketball courts? And everyone probably with young kids like, nah, we don't need them. Oh, they don't even have, they're not even in the neighborhood. Nah, we don't need those. We don't need those basketball courts. Nah. Mm-hmm. Sure? Nah.
AD.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Do you have it? I just sent you something in our Facebook.
Okay, I heard it.
Messenger.
All right, here we go.
You want me to share it?
Yeah, I was wondering if how hard would it be to share that? This is something that my younger brother sent to me and my mom yesterday. It was after our conversation yesterday morning.
Okay.
And it's a great example of, being tired and someone stepping up to the plate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's my man, Gary. Hold on. Let's see.
I got it shared. If you do.
Oh, you got it up already? Oh, you
click that. If you click that.
Hold on.
Let me know when.
There's sound to it.
Okay.
There's sound to it.
Okay, so I'm gonna unplug my headset so we can hear. So let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
We have a right to be here. We have a right to be here. We have a right to be here. A man got killed in this community and we did nothing about it. I'm gonna tell you that every time you walk into a school in your district, no matter where it is, the majority of the children are black. And repeatedly, black children have to watch white people in leadership. They don't get to see a reflection of themselves, which allows them to be proud and say, you know what, I can do that too one day. We talk about crime in North Baton Rouge. You make $100 million investment and create some jobs for Cookies and Ray Rays in North Baton Rouge and see how crime reduces. It should bother you that in a city 54% black, 47% white, that we still have positions in this community that blacks have not even gotten a fair shot at getting. Of the top 10 states in America, not a single one is in the Deep South. So even when we had somebody willing to compromise, you wouldn't do the right thing. Now you know better than all of us, even though we sent you here.
Nobody should have to be alone. Make sure you have a gun to your head. Watch it. Watch it. They'll put a gun to your head.
Stop telling us what won't work in our community, and you don't live there. You want to end the 72 murders that we got in this city? 72 today. You want to do something about the 72 murders? Put some money in the hands of black entrepreneurs and let them hire young black men.
That's an example of someone getting engaged. So there's a couple of things to consider here. Number one, be ready to battle. Number two, have your story straight. Number three, make sure you're not alone. And number four, against all odds, make sure they hear you.
Wow.
Right. Good morning, Keita. Yeah. And then number 5, know what's happening in your community.
Well, but the thing, I think the message there is have your story straight is knowing, because he knew what was happening in his community.
Right. Yes, indeed.
And he was telling them, we know what's going on.
Right.
You assume what's going on.
Right.
And you try to tell us what to do in a place that we live.
Right.
You're from the outside trying to tell us what works for the people on the inside.
Yeah.
No.
That's true.
Whoa. That right there, if you watch that and there's no inspiration / motivation, just go ahead and tell God you're ready. Just go ahead and tell God to go ahead and send you the glory.
Right.
Because wow, that left me speechless, and I know y'all know how hard that is.
Yeah, and if y'all don't know who that is Gary Chambers. He is Gary Chambers Jr. Let me make sure it's clear because there might be another Gary Chambers. He is running for Congress. He has been lighting. I know as far as I've seen him on Instagram, he's been doing this thing for a while, and of course a lot more of what he's done is now getting out. But he really got big, or his biggest press was when he called out one of the reps while they were discussing changing the name of a school. She was busy shopping online while everyone was talking. And he called her out on it.
That was beautiful.
Well, I think you have to consider the fact that when he began this journey, he was thrown out.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. So he started by getting thrown out.
Yeah.
And now they can't keep him out because now his voice is getting louder and louder.
Right.
And louder. He really got to the point where he's like, you know what? Y'all not listening. So I'm going to replace my congressman.
Right.
I'm going to take the desk. You won't get me to the table, then I'll take your desk.
See, and that's why showing up is important right there.
Definitely.
Because when you show up, you ain't like the first thing that I heard. I mean, he didn't say it in these words, but the first thing I heard and with Pastor when he said the number one, I heard there's going to be a fight.
Right.
And we all know how it is in our community when you hear about, oh, and you heard about Junior.
Right.
Yeah, boy, Junior heated, son. Look, he saw Nate. Oh, it's gonna be on and popping. They're gonna be a fight.
Right.
And people show up to fights.
Yes.
They don't show up for a whole lot of other stuff, but when it's the fight, they show up.
They show up. Right. And I think that's I think going to my further point, I think being more proactive than reactive really makes a difference. Because Gary Chambers was already in the fight before the fight, and then he knew what was going down. So he was in the places to make the change happen. It wasn't more of a reactive, but a proactive, like, yo, you're not going to keep doing this. You're not going to stop, and like Pastor said, he realized, fine, if I can't get it done from this space and you're not going to listen, then I'm going to just take the position that makes the decisions. And now I'm going to be able to make the decisions for our community, and be listened to, because now I'm going to have my badge and my position to make change. So I'm excited to see what happens. So if you're in that area or district in I think it's Louisiana, and make sure you vote for Gary. Make sure you vote for Gary Chambers Jr. And you can donate to his cause. He could donate to his campaign. Definitely do so.
Can I add another thing as well to that list that Pastor gave? You got to treat everybody involved like precious cargo.
Right.
And what I mean by that, when Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Dick Gregory, Stokely Carmichael, you name any person during that time. Pastor, how does Mama McCrory view those men that I named off just now? Any of them?
Heroes, trailblazers.
Right. And when if she was sitting here right now, if I asked her how safe were they in their own communities, what would she probably say?
Well, the thing is, anytime you step out like that, you automatically have a target on your back. But my mom comes from a time where you didn't have to step out and you already had a target on your back.
Right. But there was people who was willing to ride for them people and her when she was coming along, though, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, I tell people all the time, my mom was not the woman you found in dresses and skirts. My mom wore jeans and a fatigue jacket. She knew how to dress like a lady. But most of her time was spent looking like a Black Panther, because they had to always prepare, be ready for battle.
Wow. And that was the mindset. And I remember those statements, and that's why I asked you that question, because we have to have that mindset when it comes to change. Frederick Douglass said, without struggle, there is no change. So if this is what we want, we already have to prepare ourselves that it's not going to be easy.
Right.
A lot of this is going to be uphill. But Pastor Brian, if you're out there and you're fighting for this, you know what? I'm fighting with you, but I'm fighting for you too. I got your 6. So when you come over here, even though normally people ain't welcome over here, ain't nobody putting their hands on it.
Right.
We got to have those type mentalities. Or to take it a step further, I only got $50 extra.
Right.
But the community needs an extra 1,000.
Right.
Well, I got $20 on it. There's something you gotta go beyond your comfort zone in these times if you want to really make impacts, because your comfort zone is going to give you what you always gotten.
Right. Let me ask y'all something. And I applaud Gary Chambers for what he's doing, because that is the bigger way to have the biggest chunk of money, to disperse into a community. But outside of government assistance, and forgive the word government assistance, but because every community gets government assistance. But outside of the assistance of the government, is there a way that we could build the infrastructure, or like Pastor, a solid infrastructure within ourselves, with our own dollars, and be more inclusive to our own, as opposed to the government infrastructure?
Absolutely.
Is that?
Yeah. Okay. I think that, there are, we have in our community, I'm saying if you're connected, if you have a brotherhood or a sisterhood or whatever the case might be, private investment groups, families do this. Brothers of Legacy is doing it. Right. People have to pour into it. People have to trust the vision and the heart of organizations like Brothers of Legacy. When we say this is what we're doing, or this is what we're looking to do or looking to accomplish, seed into this organization. Right. True. What happens is people will listen to you all day, but they're not going to give you their money. Right. I can take nuggets. I can glean from the information, the content that you're providing me. Right. And go do something else with it. But if you believe in the content, if you believe in what we're doing in the vision, then you seed into that. The question is, how do you trigger people to seed into it? And even if you're not seeding into it, how do you get people more engaged? I feel like, I'm doing this now, man. I'm building some things, and my thing is this is not free. Right. It's not a hangout. There's a purpose for this. Right. Put your money where you need skin in the game. The only time to really take something serious is when you have skin in the game, and most people don't take it seriously because they don't have any skin in the game. Right. And when you don't have skin in the game, in your mind there are no wins and there are no losses. Right. But that's living life lukewarm. Right. That's deep. Right. That's deep. Very. That's deep. Because so today's message is get off the fence, get in the game, and even in your own community, in this community, like I said, text brothers to 84576. We're more than just a broadcast. Like I mentioned earlier, now we're midway in the show. Tomorrow we will not be on. We will be with Dr. Rollins and the Fatherhood Initiative and the Morehouse School. Our civic duty. Yes, and the Morehouse School of Medicine at the Fathers Matter. So make sure I'm gonna send out everybody that's in the texting service and on the email list. I'll shoot out the link. You can make sure you register, because it's a register platform. So go to bit.ly/Fathers Matter 2021. I'll shoot that link out so you can click on it, make it easier for your life. But it's up there now.
You can register whenever you can. We were starting at the same time we start here at 9 a.m. So of course we'll all be over there. So you at least have the opportunity. You can watch for an hour. It's kind of an almost all day-ish. It's to 12 p.m., but it's going to be a great forum, great conversation. Is it 1 p.m.? Oh, it is 1 p.m. So I'm looking at the start. 1 p.m. Let me get it correct. 1 p.m. So make sure you're a part of that. Collaborating with some great folks. We're not just conversating. We're creating ideas that is going to start in Georgia or start in the Metro Atlanta and move forward throughout the nation. So be a part of this movement. Go to bit.ly/Fathers Matter 2021 to create that link so make it easier to get to. All right.
And this is not a Brothers of Legacy thing.
Yes. No, it's not. This is
something that Brothers of Legacy are aligning themselves with. We're joining someone else that's doing something. Exactly what we were talking about yesterday morning is don't be afraid to connect with other people that are traveling in the same direction that you're traveling in. We may not be in the same lane, but we're heading in the same direction. So there's nothing wrong with aligning yourself with people. It's better when we do it together.
Right. Definitely. And speaking of doing it together, tonight, I know, right? That'd have been good for Monday. Tonight at 7 o'clock, we have Solomon's Temple Christian Ministries. As you can see, this gentleman at the bottom in the background. We'll be having Bible study, dropping the words in Exodus. So you definitely want to check it out. And got too much stuff, and we'll be right back.
Bam. That's a handsome pastor. You know that guy?
It's funny. I told you guys my second oldest has moved it. Well, she hasn't technically moved here yet, but she's moving to Georgia. She's been here for 2 weeks. She's in her second week of work here in Georgia. Nice. And she was talking to me about 3 or 4 days ago, and she looked up at me and she said, "Daddy." I said, "Yeah, baby." She says, "You are really handsome."
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, "Is that like a new revelation?"
I never looked at you. Just looking at you.
You've been just daddy all these years. She was a man. You was her man, but you was just daddy.
But that's the thing. It's like, what I realized, and here's what the Lord showed me, man. Our relationship has been beautiful, but she was all the way in Kentucky. Right. And she loves her father, but we didn't have that day-to-day interaction.
Wow.
Right. And so she's been here in my home, interacting with us, watching me every day.
Right.
And, she's 29 years old and she has a whole new picture of me.
Right.
And what I'm saying to everybody out here is, when people can see your work, when they see your grind, when they see your effort up close and personal, right? It changed. Some of your conversations with people that live long distance from you is tainted because they don't see you every day. Right. But when they begin to see you every day, and I love this because that's why it's so important for families to fellowship with one another. Sometimes we're arguing, we're bickering with one another. And the reality is we just need some time together.
Yes.
I just need to see your face.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Big
that's good, man. That's good. Here we go.
Speaking of, see.
That's
hey, can I get one of the? Oh, that ain't a wrap. This is a nice tight ponytail. I thought she had. I was like, she got on there with the what they call
wrap.
Yeah. I was like, can I get one of them? But that was just a real tight ponytail. That's what's up. And she got them edges laid down right.
Got that Gorilla Glue? You got that Gorilla? All right. All right. So one more ad before we go. Well, not go, but move on. Tonight also after Bible study, we got the Sisters of Legacy. My wife and crew are gonna drop some good nuggets, so make sure you check it out as well. All right.
I'll be having fun behind the scenes on this.
I've been watching you. I'm watching you, sir.
I forgot. I forgot.
I can see it all.
You the professor. You the professor. You see everything. Whoa. If y'all saw what he saw, y'all probably think something was wrong with me.
Oh, what's up, Jay? He said, "Morning, fellas. I got to catch the replay. Work taking me off my morning routine of listening to it. Man, messing it up. Appreciate you though. So. All right, so we talked about civic engagement.
And his work.
We talk about
what we're talking about.
Right. right. Got to get him back. So we're talking about having investors help build our neighborhoods, investing back into our communities, building a solid infrastructure. I think I always think about education, right? And I don't know. I think I'm of a mindset that, education can get better as far as what is provided for the public, public education. But I think we just need to have our own private education as well. A subset of historical heritage, financial, to dig into the weeds. I'm really of the mindset of not asking the government any longer to put it in a curriculum of what we want or what we need. I believe we should just create it ourselves and fund it ourselves. Now with funding that, using other organizations to fund into it so it can become free to the public in a sense, So I'm definitely of that mindset that we need to fund our own extracurricular education. So that's something I'm really passionate about, and really we need to. That's one of the goals with Brothers of Legacy, with donating and giving that I'm about. We have a financial literacy for kids. And if you're interested in that, definitely text Brothers to 84576. I've had to rework the link because there was some issues with that, but definitely text 84576 and be a part. Like I said, all of this stuff, text Brothers to 84576. And it's not, and so the thing we're doing tomorrow with the Fatherhood Initiative, it's not, if you look on, like I said, Pastor, this is not our thing. We're just doing the work with someone else that's going in the same direction. Our logo ain't there. BOL's not really directly associated. I don't care. I just want the work to be done. I want change to happen in our community. You understand what I'm saying? My name could not even be on the list of great things that happen. I just want things for my children to see happen, things to change. Like, man, I remember my dad was part of that, just to push it to the next level. Like it's not about namesake. I'm I'm more interested in impact. I'm more interested in change happening. When I turned 60, like, man, Dwayne, remember when we used to have this problem and we talked about it and we started, oh man, look at where we're at now. High five, we did it. It's time to go on to glory. So it's what, living out our purpose here in order to have the impact going forward into the future. That's what Brothers Legacy is all about. Like I said, and like I mentioned, we're not on any flyer. We're not part of it like that. We're just part of the work, and that's what we're doing. We're part of the work, and I love it. I love it.
And let me say, not only is that the standard that's gonna make our communities better,
right?
That's the same standard that makes the body of Christ better,
right?
Like the Bible makes it abundantly clear that God gives each and every one of us gifts, right? And we don't have any say on what gift we get. He's like, okay, here you get this, this, and this. You get this, this, and this.
Right.
And the Bible says he gives it to us without repentance,
right?
Which means once he gives it to us, he doesn't ever feel bad that, oh man, I gave all those skills over here to this dude and he just squandered it away. You know why he doesn't feel bad that he's not repentant about giving you gifts? Because you're going to have to answer. You're going to have to be accountable for those gifts one day.
Right.
So
if you want an in-depth explanation of that,
yes,
go back to Solomon's Temple on Sunday.
Yes.
Because the message Sunday was just do something with it.
With it. Yes.
Right.
Yes, indeed.
I'm telling you.
Yes, indeed.
You are going to be accountable. One of my favorite sayings in the world is each one of us are God's gift to the world, but a gift that's unopened is worthless.
Right.
Right now, many of us are a bunch of unopened gifts. And God is going to hold you accountable for holding what he's put in you to seed into this world to make it better.
Right.
He's going to hold that against you that you didn't do anything with it.
Right. Right.
And I'm telling you, if you want to see success, change, whether it's in your home, whether it's in your community, whether it's on your job, tap into what God's put inside you and make it available the way you're supposed to. Because not only do... I heard a preacher say once, the hose that brings the water, it even gets wet.
Nice.
So bring your water to the community because there's something in it for you too.
Right. Definitely.
Absolutely.
That was good. I was trying to pull up that YouTube quickly for Pastor Sturman and throw it in the lake. There we go.
Oh,
Phil. You know why? Like, I'm shaking my head.
Ignore my singing in the beginning and just get the word. Don't worry about the singing.
Oh yeah, he must have tuned out. It
was skillful, right? Well, it was to the Lord. It was to the Lord.
I got folks saying, Pastor, that sure was a word, but please stop singing. Please stop.
Let me guess. Sam was the first person to tell you one.
Sam said nothing.
Nope. Sam, look.
Nah, it was some of my brothers, folks I rode motorcycle. Hey, bro, that was a word, man, but stop trying to sing, man. I'm like, it's not for you, bro. I'm not gonna stop singing. I can't hold a tune, but I'm not gonna stop.
I feel you.
I'm gonna use what I got. Use what I got.
Use it. Let him use you. All right. So listen, we appreciate you guys rocking with us and hanging with us and laughing with us. Make sure you share and tag somebody in your community. Tag a group, tag a friend, tag a sister, tag a brother, tag an uncle, tag a cousin, tag an enemy. And let them be a part of this conversation. Like I said before, whatever reason, Facebook has limited my reach because I know from several people they've said they haven't got any notifications. They're like, I didn't even know you're still on. I'm like, what's going on? So whatever I did, said, whatever rule I broke on the low.
Stop doing this dirty, Mark. Put your hands out of his pockets.
So Whatever it is what it is. So just tag somebody, share it to your timeline. So we have an opportunity to grow and reach different communities and reach out to people that have not had an opportunity to get in these kinds of conversations. And if you know, we don't talk about mess. We're not sensational. We're not here. And the other side, we're not here to quote scripture after scripture after scripture. We're talking real life based on how we're living, based on the life God has given us. So we are Bible based, but we don't hit you in the head all morning with scripture after scripture after scripture. We give you life lessons as well. So that is key. All right. So make sure, like I said, just tag somebody. You can do it right now. We ain't over. So we're going to get out of here. We appreciate you. So remember, tomorrow we'll be at the Fossil Initiative. So everybody join the community, brothers to 84576. So you stay up on these things. So when changes happen, you like, where the brothers at? You know where we at. And other things that are happening in community. Like I said, we're a part of this, but this is their thing. This is not our thing. We're just in the trenches, in the work. And we got this other stuff that happens that we're a part of. So I want to make sure you guys know what we're doing, what we're a part of, and have an opportunity to see and contribute as well. This works, building the community. All right. So we look forward to seeing you tomorrow over there. Same time, same channel. We appreciate you guys rocking always. Thank you for being here. You could be anywhere else, but you hang out with the brothers. See you in the AM. Peace out. I didn't want to catch that. Good morning. Welcome to another edition. Good morning.